verse of the day is Proverbs 16:28, and it says, "A troublemaker plants seeds of strife, gossip separates the best of friends." Today's verse is so key when it comes to maintaining unity in your relationships and your friendships long term. The word strife means angry or bitter disagreement over fundamental issues, conflict. Something that God revealed to me a couple years ago when it comes to conflict in relationships is most often it has to do with someone not feeling safe. Feeling safe in a relationship is so key or it won't last. It's just like that saying that if you don't have trust in the relationship, it's not going to be. And it's the same thing when it comes to God. If there's not trust, mutual trust, that's not a relationship. It's not going to last and it's not something that you're going to be able to build on. So you have to have trust. And what happens with gossip is it breaks all trust. It breaks any opportunity to build in that relationship, because if you can't be loyal and faithful and truthful in the little things, how are you going to be able to handle my deepest, darkest moments when I really need someone? Gossip not only just reveals your lack of loyalty, but it reveals your lack of strength within, because your ability to not gossip and to not give in to tearing someone down or talking about someone else in a way that isn't uplifting or encouraging or solution oriented means that maybe you don't know what else to talk about. Maybe you're trying to redirect onto someone else rather than talk about you. So sometimes that could highlight a lack of intimacy or a lack of vulnerability in yourself, where you have to redirect the attention onto someone else in a negative lens to make yourself feel better. Gossip is basically a breach of trust. It's trust being taken away. It's trust being thrown out. And so it's you basically saying, this person doesn't mean as much to me as I maybe communicate or maybe that they think. And it's you stooping lower than you're called to be. We're called to encourage and to love and to treat others the way we want to be treated. Would you want other people to be gossiping about you? Probably not. So if you wouldn't want that, it's being mindful before you engage into a conversation. Would I want this to be said about me? Would this feel safe to me? If my friend started talking about this about me, would I feel safe with that? Or would it make me want to not be close to this person? So that's a good question to ask before you engage in any conversation or choose to participate in any conversation. In so many of my relationships, when I've been dealing with, okay, why do I feel a lack of connection? Why don't I feel like I know how to connect with this person? It always came down to judgment or not feeling safe. It can be a couple things. It can be you projecting the judgment you feel onto this person, which is you sabotaging the relationship, or it can be you have real evidence as to why this person isn't safe to you. And regardless, it all comes down to that lack of trust, right? So you're not going to open up your heart to someone you don't feel safe with. And every single time I've felt a disconnect in a relationship, I've always gone to God and been like, okay, Lord, check my heart. Get rid of anything in my heart that could be causing division, anything in my heart that might have judgment, that might not feel safe around this person, but in a way that I'm sabotaging it. Help my heart to be renewed for this person. Help me to love this person well. Help me to encourage this person well. And every single time I go to God and ask Him to get rid of all judgment and anything that's holding me back, I go interact with this person again, and it's almost like the heavy load has been lifted, and there's a freedom to connect because I'm no longer blocking and creating division. Because when you don't feel safe and you have judgment, when you have judgment against someone, that means you're judging their very behavior. So why would you share something that's vulnerable to you to them? You wouldn't. So you would put up a wall, which is why you maybe give my day was great, I'm doing good. Because you don't want to go into really how you're doing or really what's going on, because this person isn't safe to you. So I always encourage anyone to be like, Lord, check my heart. Is there any judgment I'm having against this person? Is there any unforgiveness against these people? Because if you go after getting rid of judgment, resentment, unforgiveness, bitterness, and you ask God to cleanse your heart from those things, your connection will come back. Your connection will revive, and you'll be able to connect with those people that you felt like you had walls up with. And also, if you're someone who asks yourself that question, why can't I connect with this person? Why do I only give one-word answers? Why can't I have an engaging conversation? A lot of times it comes down to trust. Do you trust this person? Are there reasons that you've told yourself that you shouldn't? Are there other people that have whispered in your ear, gossip, that have caused that division? Or is there validity to why you want distance? Because distance is necessary with certain people. Boundaries are necessary, but it's all about checking your heart, because if it's that division and that unforgiveness, that's hindering your ability to express yourself, right? Because you're not expressing yourself because you don't feel safe. So we need to learn how to get rid of all of the resentment, unforgiveness, and bitterness, because getting rid of that brings safety back into our heart, because it gets rid of the lie that says people aren't safe. It gets rid of the lie that says I can't be safe with people. Because the more you get hurt by people, the more you want to build walls, right? Which means you're probably going to be less inclined to let a lot of people in. So you're going to get hardened. Your heart is going to get hardened, which is going to isolate you. But the more you get rid of those feelings, unforgiveness, and bitterness, the more you open up your heart to connect with people again. And God will surround you with the right people. You might have been burned in your past, but He will bring the right people around again. The only way you're ever going to know if there's good people is if you try, is if you open up your heart. And you can't open up your heart if you have that unforgiveness, that bitterness, that resentment. And you can't continue to open up your heart and build strong, lasting relationships if you have that gossip. What happens too with gossip is the more you gossip, the more you're telling yourself that this person isn't trustworthy. The more you're continually giving yourself evidence that is going to help you separate yourself and not take care of this relationship, because you're talking about this person in a way that makes you not want to be in relationship with this person, rather than fighting for the friendship. Because in any friendship, you're going to have issues. In any relationship, there's going to be issues. But the only way you're going to get through them is if you go to that person and you guys work it out and you seek unity. I just love the parallel too with the lack of trust. If you don't have trust, you can't have a strong foundation. You can't have a good relationship. And it goes with God. If you don't trust God, if you don't trust that He's a man of His word, if you don't trust what the Bible says, you can't continue to build. So a good place to start is, Lord, help me to trust You. Help me to learn how to trust You, because the more I learn how to trust You, the more You're going to help me trust myself and trust the people in my life. And the more you open up your heart to God, the more He can pick off that unforgiveness and that bitterness and that resentment, because when His love comes into your heart, all of those things just have to go. They get picked off and your heart gets renewed, which helps you love people well again. So ask God, help you to be a man or a woman of your word, to build that integrity, to put your trust in Him so that you can continue to build trust in everyone else in your life. Okay?